All right, y'all. As you can see from the title of the video, we are going to be doing a little bit of back testing today. It's Sunday, markets are closed. I usually like to do a little back testing on the weekend just to refresh my memory, see what price did last week, what price could potentially do this week. Obviously, we don't know. We don't want to predict anything, but it's just a little refresher. Want to always make sure that we get our chart time in. It doesn't really matter how many years you've been trading. I've been doing this for 3 years, and I still backtest every weekend. Not so much during the weekend as I used to. I used to put hours in, but today I'm only going to do about 30 minutes to an hour of backtesting. I just want to show you guys a little bit of that of what I do. Not too, not to get too deep into it, but just showing you guys how I backtest, what I look for. Obviously, I'm only looking for my setup. I just want to really get back into really only looking for or understanding what I'm looking for, not trading it unless I see my specific setup. So, all right, let's just dive into it. I'm gonna bring up the charts for you guys. Last week I traded. Last week I traded gold and I traded YM, um, which is US 30 in forex. But this week I want to cut it down to only oil and natural gas. And natural gas is usually what I trade majority of the time for the past, I don't know, probably 6 months. That's what I've been trading. And then last week I just decided to trade two different things, and I actually went 2 for 4 last week, so 50%, and I wasn't really too happy with it. Wasn't too bad, but again, I just want to get back to what I trade and what I know and what I've been looking at for the past 6 months. So this week I'm simply focusing on oil, and I'm focusing on natural gas. So those are the two things I'm going to be back testing today. I'm looking at crude oil right now, and I'm seeing that last week we failed to break a high, right? We didn't break a low, but we failed to break a high. So for me, that means that price is going to try to test these lows to see if we break. All right. So if we break this week or the next couple weeks, that's gonna let us know, okay, price is either gonna be bullish or bearish. But for now, we're in the middle of price right now, in the middle of this leg right here. We're in the middle of this high and this low. So this week I kind of just want to see what price does. I'm expecting a push down to test these lows, and then once we test these lows, I kind of just want to fill it out, see what happens, and from there I'll be able to understand. Okay, price is looking like it's want to be bearish, or price is rejecting and can potentially go higher. So that's what I'm seeing on the weekly for CL. If I go down to the daily, I'm how I backtest is basically how I trade, right? So I'll go down and I'll mark up my daily highs and my daily lows. First of all, let's just pick a random time. Let's do replay and just pick a random time. Alright. What I want to do is I want to mark up my daily highs and my daily lows from here. After I do that, I also kind of want to see where we are in price, right? So obviously we broke highs after we broke below. So to me, it's telling me that we probably want to continue up. If we break lows and then instantly break a high, to me that's a if we break lows and then instantly break a high, to me that's telling me that, okay, we're no longer probably going to be bearish. We potentially want to continue higher, right? So we have these highs right here that we probably want to retest. And then we also have these highs up here. This is a daily time frame right now, so when I'm looking at this, I'm obviously only gonna go for the most recent high. So this is the high that I want to look for when I'm looking for bullish momentum. We've broken this high on the daily. We're kind of in this range right here, so I want to see if price can come down lower and then go higher, or give me some sort of indication that we want to finally push out of this range. But for now, I'm looking at buys on the as far as the daily time frame. All right, so I have my high and my low marked off. So I want to go to the 4 hour, see where we're at. Again, we're in this range right here, so I don't really want to buy or sell in this current range, right? I want price to actually show me what it wants to do. As you can see, we did take out some liquidity here and rejected. So that's another good sign that we probably want to continue higher. We do have this 4 hour fair value gap sitting right here below this liquidity. So that is an area of interest that I kind of want price to come down to before going higher. All right, so if I go down to the 1 hour, seeing the same things, right? Price taking sell side liquidity, not breaking any lows, not closing below any lows. So more confirmation that we probably want to continue buying, probably taking out some highs. All I'm looking for now is for price to give me some sort of indication of, okay, it's time to buy, right? I've gotten my previous day high and my previous day lows marked off. So at this particular moment, I just want some sort of either another sweep of a low to go in, or a break of structure to the high, leaving some sort of fair value gap, and then an indication to buy once it's tapped, once it retraces back into that fair value gap. So let's mark off what time I would usually trade, which would be, this is a Thursday here, so I'm looking to trade on this is a Wednesday, so I'm looking for a Thursday morning. So let me mark off 8 o'clock on the next day, and that's when I'll be looking to trade or enter into a trade. Again, we're just back testing, so by the time I would come in on Thursday morning, this price would have already been printed, right? So I'm just gonna let price get to about the time I would be seeing the charts the next day. All right, here we go. So we're at, what is this, about 6 o'clock the next day. I would probably be coming to the charts around this time, right? So what do I see? Price has taken out the previous day highs, right? So for me, I'm like, okay, we've taken out buy side liquidity. We probably want to come down lower, take some sort of sell side liquidity, or come down and fill some sort of gap. What I see on the 1 hour is that we have this 1 hour fair value gap, right? We've tapped into it a little bit, but I want to see it retrace a little bit and then go back up. So I'm gonna go down to the 15-minute and see if there's anything that tells me, okay, price may want to come down a little bit. On the 15-minute, we've taken out these highs, right? We didn't close above. So to me, I'm like, okay, we probably want to go down a little bit lower and take out some sort of low and then go higher. Let me fast forward to the time that I trade, which would be about this line, the 8 o'clock line, and see where price is at. All right, so it's 8 o'clock now. I've seen that price has come down. It did tap into this fair value gap, but it didn't give me a deep retracement for my liking. It just broke structure to the upside. Again, I haven't seen an entry point as far as my particular trading plan. So I'm just gonna wait. I need to see what price does, and see if price is gonna give me some sort of entry. We're playing around right now. Playing around in this area. Okay. All right. Right. I don't know if you guys see this. So we're playing around in this area, right? We broke structure and we're coming down into an area where initially wanted price to tap into a little bit deeper, right? So I'm gonna go to the 1 hour, right? Because I want to see what price is trying to do. We broke the highs, right? On the 1 hour we kind of not as not as much as I want to, but we kind of closed above, which is still, bullish momentum, so we're still bullish. And then we on the 15 minute, we definitely closed above, but we left this area right here, which is liquidity. And remember I said I would have rather price come down and a little bit deeper into this fair value gap, right? We didn't do that, but we did break structure to the high. So for me, I'm like, okay, I want to see what price does when it does get into here. I do have my indicators on right now, but I'm gonna take these off just because I don't really like too much stuff on my charts. And I see that the 200 is sitting right here. So for me, what I want to see in order to buy is I want to see price take out this liquidity sitting right here, right? Respect this fair value gap, which means respecting this 50% on the higher time frame. This is a 1 hour. So I really want to see the 1 hour candles respect. So let's see what happens. Ooh. Perfect, right? Perfect. We came down, we respected this sell side liquidity, and we had great reaction in this fair value gap. We didn't quite come down to the 50%, but we still respected it. So for me, what I want to see is I want to see a close on this 15 minute. And the reason I'm doing 15 minutes is just because crude oil, for some reason, respects or looks better, in my opinion, on the 15-minute chart. So for right now, I'm gonna stay on the 15 minute instead of going down to the 5 minute where I would usually enter. But right now, all I want to see is for price to give me an entry signal, which is usually on a 5 minute, right? Fair value gap, tapping into that fair value gap, and then we have a fair value gap sitting right here, so that would probably be my target, my first target. The 50% of that fair value gap with my stops right here. So that's a little over a 1-to-1. I don't really like it. My normal target would be this high, but because of that fair value gap right there, I want to see how price reacts. Let's go back to the 15 minute. And let's see what price does. Okay, so it looks like we are going to hit that initial target. It looks like we are going to hit the overall target. If I go to the 5 minute, I'm trying to understand why this didn't respect. Obviously we're bullish, so I know why it didn't respect. But if I'm live trading, I need to understand why this didn't respect, right? For one, the first reason why I feel like it didn't respect, or confirmation of why this probably wasn't going to respect, is it wasn't this transition, this break of the low right here didn't first come after a break of the high, right? So if it would have been something that looked like this, if price did this, right, we came up, came down, respecting, making a higher low, came up, broke the high, making a higher high, and then instantly broke the low, I would have thought, okay, this particular fair value gap would have respected, making a lower low, right? That's not what happened. if you can see, we came up, made a high, came down, made a higher low, didn't make a high, right? Which tells me that we just simply want to come back down, grab some more liquidity, take some people out before going higher. So that's what we did. We grabbed some sell side liquidity, came back up to eventually make a higher high. Let's see if we actually hit that. What time is it? It's 5:30. That's probably why it's not hitting right now, but eventually we're gonna hit that target or of these highs. But that's good. That's a good example of how I would get into this trade. All right, let's try another one, and then we'll move on to NG. Take these drawings off. Let's go down to the daily. Let's just find a random spot. Find a random spot. All right, we're here. Obviously, we know what price has done, right? We know price just based off the last trade that we tested. We know price broke this high, but let's just, for the sake of it, say we didn't know what's gonna happen. Let's mark off our highs and our lows. All right, let's also mark off our structure. All right. Broke a little structure here, but that's not a major structure. The most recent right here is the major structure, so that's the only thing I'll mark off for now. All right, let's go down to the 4-hour, see if we can see anything else. All right, on the 4-hour, looks like same thing, super clean, very beautiful structure right now. What I want to see is for price to, if we're still bearish, respecting this high, right? This is the last high that we have to kind of see if price is going to respect to continue down. If it doesn't respect, we got a small signal that we probably want to continue up, but for now we're bearish. We're going to call this buy side liquidity, and then one thing I want to point out is we have a lot of bullish candles, right? That is something that we have to pay attention to when we're looking at momentum and price and what price can potentially do, right? So if I'm seeing and I'm looking for sales, right, but I'm seeing price constantly make these huge bullish candles, right, and these small bearish candles, that tells me that buyers are in right now. There's not many sellers in this area. So I want to be super cautious. Even though we are bearish right now, I want to be super cautious in taking sales, right? I want to make sure that sales are in before I take any sales. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for a either respect of a high, or if price does take out some buy side liquidity, I'm looking for a huge bearish candle showing me that we have sellers in the market now. So if I'm going to the 1 hour, this is, to me, I'm like, okay, this was liquidity sitting right here, right? We just blasted through that right here. This would have been liquidity for me. If I wanted to see price go down. I would have wanted price to take out liquidity but not close above this area, right? That's not what happened. We obviously just demolished this area right here, closing above and continuously get having bullish momentum, as you can see in this candle right here, um, go to the upside. So for me, again, I have to be super careful, even though we did break structure here, super careful on what I'm looking for as far as sales. Again, I need to see some sort of um, break of a high and then a sweep of a low and closing bearish. So some sort of bearish momentum. It goes to the 15-minute. Again, like, look at this. Look at this price. We have yet to have any type of pullback in almost 270 ticks, right? No sort of pullback. Oh, we're just continuously going up. So much bullish momentum. At this point, I don't even want to see sales right now. At this point, it's telling me all we want to do is buy. No real momentum as far as sales. But I can't get in for buys right now. We're too high. So let's just see what price does. Hold on, let's mark off my 8 o'clock candle for the next day. This is a Monday. So 8 o'clock candle for the Tuesday. Alright. So at this particular point right here is when I would probably be ready to look for setups. So let's fast forward all the way to that point. Let's go to the 1 hour. Make this a little bit faster. All right. So where we are now, when I would potentially be looking for setups, we are on the 1 hour. I'm seeing price close above this area, right? We haven't broken any major highs, but we did close above this liquidity, right? So I'm thinking, okay, what we do in this area matters. Let's draw this out. What we do in this area right here matters. If we have a lot of sell side or sellers push coming in, we're gonna have a huge push down, and then I would look for some sort of selling opportunities. But if we respect this area here, I'm only probably gonna be looking for buys, right? If I pull out my fib from this low to this high, if we also have this 50% to 61% area. So if I'm selling, I probably only want to sell to this 61%, right? Because price on CL loves to respect the 61%. And if we're buying, I'm looking to buy in this area, right? We haven't taken out any highs before we came down, so I know buys are the only thing I should be looking for. And until we take out buys and then displace to the downside. Let's take this off so we're not getting any confusion. So again, we have our highs. It looks like we did take some liquidity here. Let's draw this out. We took out liquidity. So what does that mean? We're gonna come down and try to take some sort of sell side liquidity, or come down into a discount before going up. We've got liquidity sitting here, right, that we could potentially take. Let's say this is lower time frame liquidity. We've got, if I go back to the 1 hour, we've got fair value gap sitting here, right? So me personally, what I want to see before I buy is for price to come down to some sort of discount. Come down to 50%, really 61%, and then buy up. Or I can scalp into that 50% or 61% and buy down. High probability says to wait if you are a scalper, or if you see opportunity and you want to take a sell, you can take a sell. Where would I take a sell at? I would take it, if I was to take a sell, I would take it here, right? Wait for price to come up into this area and go down and take out some of this sell side liquidity. Let's see what it does. All right. Let's say this. All right. Before price retraced back into this fair value gap, we took out sell side liquidity. Why is this important? Because our original bias was a buy, right? So we wanted price to come down and take sell side liquidity. This fair value gap is no longer valid for me, right? Because this was only going to be valid had we not taken out this liquidity yet. So I'm going to delete this because to me, I don't feel like it's going to hold. We've already pushed down into sell side liquidity, into that fair value gap I said I wanted price to hit. It wasn't the 50%, but we did tap and we respected it. This fair value gap is not from a push up, right? Taking a high and then taking a low, right? It didn't come from that. So sells aren't valid for me. I was only going to take this as far as a scalp. So this right here is not a high probability setup for me. What is this. Take out sell side liquidity. We hit the fair value gap, respecting it, right? What I want to see on the 15 minute, took out liquidity again. What I want to see moving forward is for price to give me some sort of indication that now we're about to head to the upside. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a displacement to the upside, retracement down into the fair value gap, and then buying back up. So let's see if we get that. So far, we've got that displacement, right? We took out these lows, displaced to the upside. When I say displacement, I mean a candle, a huge engulfing candle, right? That's displacement. Let's try it here, right? That right there tells me, okay, we have a lot of buying pressure right now. All I'm looking for is price to close like this, give me some sort of fair value gap, tap back into that fair value gap, respecting it, and then push into the upside. Oh, there we go. Right? You see how we closed? Right? Bullish. The very next candle, right, closed like this, giving me a fair value gap. Right here. Right? From this bullish candle and this second candle closing the way it did, gave me a fair value gap right here. Right? So what am I looking for? I'm looking for price to come down, respect it, give me a break of the candle, and that's my entry. Break of this candle is my entry. I would usually go below here for my for my low. For my stop loss, and then I would go for a 1 or 2, whatever that looks like, which would be here, which would be the previous day highs. Let's see what we get. Let's see if we get that break of candle, and then TP1 would be this high, but my overall TP would be a 1 or 2. All right, we got in. TP hit, TP hit. Guys, this is literally what I look for every single day, right? Understanding where we are in price, understanding what price is giving us. Even though I wanted price to come down a little bit deeper, that's not what it gave us, right? It took out liquidity, right? It first took out buy side, came down, took out the sell side liquidity, gave us an entry, right? I told you what I was looking for in order to enter. That's what it gave us. It never hit. I put my stop loss below here just because most people want tight stop losses, which is fine. But if you want your setup to be able to play out, you have to give it room, right? In order for this to continue to be valid, it has to respect this low. So I don't want my stop loss to be here, right? After that first push. Let's take this off here really quick. I don't want my stop loss to be under here after that initial push, right? Because price can continue to come down, taking out this low and then go up just like it did. As long as we hold this low here, as long as we hold this low here, I know that my setup is still valid, right? I don't want to put my stop loss at a point where price can still continue to hit, but still continue to hold validation for my setup, right? So what does that mean? If I were to put my stop loss here under this initial push up and break of the candle, and then price came down and took me out, I would have been sick, right? Because the price is still valid. You know, my setup is still valid. So what I want to do is put my stop loss at a point where I know if price comes here, my entry or my setup is no longer valid. So that's why I put my stop loss where I put it, below here, getting that 1 or 2. And I do this every single day. Wait for price to show his hand, take out some sort of liquidity, respecting the liquidity, and then going in the direction I want it to go. Let's do one more setup. This time I'm gonna do it on NG, and then we'll be done. This is every day, guys. This is something I look for every day, so I don't really have to backtest as much. But I just want to give you guys a little bit of what I see, how I see the markets, how I enter the trade, what I'm waiting for in order to enter the trade, right? Let's go to the daily, and let's just mark up. Let's find a random spot. All right, so let's go and mark off our highs and our daily lows, previous day highs and our previous day lows. Previous day high, previous day low. All right. What I see already is that currently we are tapping into a bearish for value gap, right? Let's see if we can hold this. Let's go to the 4-hour. Four-hour is looking very clean, very clean. I like it. We broke some structure here, broke structure here, right? Left some liquidity here. Now, even though we left liquidity here, we closed above it, right? Now, on the daily time frame, we so far haven't closed above it, but on the 4-hour we closed above it. Something to keep an eye on. So far, still bearish, right? unless it gives me some sort of inkling that we want to buy. So far, still bearish. Let's mark off my what is this? This is Thursday, so I'm looking for Friday, 8 a.m. Friday, 8 a.m. All right, so this is when I plan on trading. All right, so let's fast forward to around that time. All right. All right. What do I see? On the 1 hour, we did not even on the we haven't respected this fair value gap, right? So I'm gonna take this off, and I'm like, okay, we are trading above the previous day highs. We swept liquidity, right? And we so far haven't closed below. So to me, we're still bullish. We haven't gotten any inkling that we want to sell right now. We have this liquidity sitting up here that price might want to tap into. Even though we are overall bearish, we are continuously making higher highs, right? We're continuously making higher highs and higher lows, right? Only thing I'm looking for is a higher low in order to continue up. First target would be this previous day. This liquidity, buy side liquidity sitting here. That's my target. Let's go down to a lower time frame to see if I can get some sort of entry. I'm going to the 15 minute. Go to the 5 minutes really quick. All right. On the 15 minute, I see that we are tapping into this fair value gap. I don't think this is going to hold just because, again, on the 1 hour, we have already swept liquidity, right? So all I'm looking for is for price to give me some sort of inkling it wants to buy. If I go to the 5 minute, I see that we broke structure to the downside. And then what do? Instantly break structure to the upside. Signal that we probably want to buy. What do I look for next? Some sort of pullback, right? Because I've obviously at this particular time, we're at a time where I don't see a displacement, any displacement right now. So I don't. That's what I usually look for. Some sort of displacement, so I can enter off that fair value gap and then go to the continuation of whatever direction I'm looking for. I don't really have that yet, so let's see if we can get an entry. Nothing yet. All right, we've broken structure. Nothing yet. All right, so we have breaking structure. What time is it? We continue to go up, breaking structure. I really haven't gotten any entry signals to get in, and I stopped trading at 11 a.m. So for me, this is gonna look like a no trade day, even though we are pushing up. It just hasn't given me any type of entry. Nothing. All right, we're at 11 o'clock. Hasn't really given me an entry. We did break structure to the upside. I guess you can say my entry could have been here. It just didn't look the way I wanted it to look, right? There wasn't a clear break of structure for me. Even though we did break structure here, right? If this particular candle broke the high of here, it wasn't a bullish close to give me enough confirmation that okay, this is where we're gonna go up. So to me, this is just a no trade day. Even though it did eventually hit where I want, even though price did eventually go to where I wanted price to go to, I didn't have an entry signal in order to get in. So it's just one of those days. All right, guys, I am done back testing. We end up back testing two setups for oil and one setup for natural gas. The setup for natural gas we didn't end up getting an entry for, but that's okay because that's something that could probably happen when we're live trading, right? Not every day is going to be a trading day. Not every day you're going to see what you need to see in order to enter the trade. Price did do what we wanted it to do, but we didn't get that entry signal. So good experience on the charts. If you guys like these type of videos, let me know down in the comments. I'll do more of them. I'll get better at being able to explain what I look for, how I look for it. If you guys understood this and you like it, give me a like in the comments. We'll run it back. We'll continue doing back testing videos. We'll continue breaking down the charts so you guys can kind of see how I see the charts, what I like to see in order to get into a trade, and we'll run it back.